What's good, y'all? I'm Jerry, about to check out 10 genius ways wrestlers survive WWE humiliations. This video is about what culture wrestling, man. I can't really think of wrestlers that survive WWE humiliation, but we on the road to 2K subscribers, man. So we about to hop into this video and let What Culture Wrestling name his 10 genius ways wrestlers save their career, survive WWE humiliations.
We all know that because there is so much wrestling on television, some of it is going to be gubbins. It's the same with me and my YouTube videos. I know there's some pap out there. Key is always what you do next. But when you do fall, it's all about how you pick yourself back up. That man was right.
I want to say Cody Rhodes.
Everybody soon forgets that you crapped the bed, and often you can use
Roman Reigns
to
definitely
actually better
survives
yourself. So find that
humiliation.
Many a sports entertainer has done this too, so I'm Simon from What Culture. Please hit that subscribe
Drew McIntyre is another one.
And this is 10 genius ways wrestlers survive WWE humiliations. Number 10, Goldberg tells WWE to book him like WCW. Goldberg's first WWE run was no good. Spanning from 2003 to 2004, Vince McMahon was so insistent that they portray him in their own image, they took away everything that made Bill great to start with. So there was no squash matches, no intensity, they made him wear a wig. In weeks, he was just another dude on the roster, and that should never be the case. It's Goldberg. It's why he left after just 1 year, because what was the point? Before returning in 2016 and decking Brock Lesnar in 1 minute and 24 seconds. Still remember that. I was stunned. I think the extra part to this was down to the fact it was a total 180, and as it turned out, all of this happened because Bill kept saying no to WWE till they finally agreed to treat him like World Championship Wrestling did. Shock horror, it worked. The truly crazy part is how close Goldberg and Vince McMahon have become recently.
He knew what made his character
from the early 2000s
stand out amongst all the legends.
Chad Gable turns up his personality. I tell you what rocks about Chad Gable. Not only is he a top tier wrestler, but he's quite clearly very comfortable in his own skin.
They should definitely give him a push.
Happy with his role. He's quite the inspiration. It's why when he got slapped with the character of
hated that gimmick.
He was able to ride it out. Forget that it made him sound like some sort of human biscuit. It didn't make any sense. He was dubbed this because he wasn't very tall, and yet many individuals he ran into were exactly the same height as him. What are we doing? Good old Chad saw this as an opportunity though, so just used it as a platform to be as entertaining as possible, which eventually led to his shoo stick. And sure, that's utterly childish and ridiculous, but
that's kind of stupid.
It makes me laugh. So ultimately, he has taken everything and made himself a pretty important part of the roster. What a dude he really is. Number 8, William Regal survives using comedy. Just go and listen to William Regal in any interview he has ever done. The dude is not only a genius, but he totally gets that taking yourself too seriously is the end for anything you may want to do.
Yeah.
Not wrong. That's why when he was in WWE, he drank tea that had been urinated in by Chris Jericho, joined the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club, and at one point pretended he was a ninja. I truly believe that some wrestlers wouldn't have survived this as they would have felt humiliated. But because Regal embraced it and ensured he became the best part about the segment, just raised his stock. He didn't mind dressing up or getting laughed at for a bit, and in fact he took pride in it. His suck-up buffoon persona was always a riot too, and of course you could not be impressed by what he was doing in the ring. There's a reason he was in a good wrestler, a great wrestler, by the way. Run at one stage. Never happened. The man would have deserved it. Underrated till the end. Number 7, Trish Stratus' spirit shines through. We all remember that in 2001, Vince McMahon made Trish Stratus bark like a dog.
I remember that.
Truly one of the worst moments during a questionable time, and rightfully it would never happen today. Shouldn't have happened back then.
Definitely wouldn't happen today.
Down to her underwear in another awful segment.
They would have lost so many sponsorships.
You know how Stratus dealt with all of this? She continued to fight behind the scenes for change. Whether that was
she stopped wearing pants. She started wearing pants and stopped tights.
Get better in the ring. Trish became twice the performer anybody expected.
She started to want to become more taken seriously.
It was great. It meant when all was said and done, Stratus was remembered
wanted to be taken more seriously by dressing different, not dressing real provocative,
any of the other nonsense was soon
and just focusing on the in-ring stuff.
Well, let's never do it
Good
again.
for Trish.
6, Mankind tricks Vince McMahon. When Mick Foley was brought into the WWF, he was told his name was going to be
the Mutilator.
Mason the Mutilator. We all know straight away that's not good because, come on, Foley, being the smart dude that he was, saw it instantly. Didn't matter what the gimmick was going to be, no one is going to start a Mason chant. Thankfully the company realised this and it got changed to Mankind, but even then, the Mutilator part was the most 1980s thing ever. Mick knew he would have to use his wrestling smarts to sort this. So while Foley told Vince that he'd wear the mask and the strange brown attire, when it came to the name, why not change it to just Mankind. This was sold on the idea that they could build a whole army of catchphrases around it, and after Mrs. Foley's baby boy had kind of made McMahon think that it was his idea, got it approved. As we know, this was the right choice because he turned out into an absolutely all-timer.
A legend.
I stand by the fact that if he had been Mason the Mutilator,
it wouldn't last that long.
He would have been repackaged in a month. Number 5, Bray Wyatt blames the fans. The end of The Fiend was just bizarre. I mean, he was burned, Randy Orton beam at WrestleMania in front of a box-like structure before Bray Wyatt was let go altogether. Kind of like he was being punished. Thankfully, in October 2022, he was brought back into the fold, and man, did Wyatt have a plan to address all this. Rather than just ignore it or try and pretend it worked as intended, Bray started to blame the fans for encouraging the nonsense of The Fiend, and that maybe we should have just slowed down a touch. It also became an internal battle as he tried to fight his inner demons to stop this happening again. Personally, I think it's faboo. We are really taking our time with this, which is always a plus, and as long as we don't make the same mistakes as before, this could finally be Wyatt's coming out party. I mean, he has had to do this twice previously, but he made it work then before the madness returned. Feeling this time it may be different, or at least I hope. Boy, do I hope. Before, Dusty Rhodes cares not for your ribbing. So every now and then, some WWE folk like to pretend that the WWF putting Dusty Rhodes in polka dots wasn't done for a joke. It most definitely was. This is why the American Dream was the best. He just no-sold it and turned it into something that today we all look back fondly on. What a flippin' hero. Dusty totally knew that when it came to any gimmick, you just did the best you could with it, and that's why he was an absolute legend. He blocked out the overt silliness of it, ensured he connected with the fans, and continued to cut top-tier promos anytime he had a mic. So nobody cared what he was wearing. Admittedly, he wasn't used to the level his abilities deserved, but when he was done, he just returned to Atlanta, and he smashed it all over again. This didn't hurt him at all. A lesson for every one of us. Number 3, Rey Mysterio wows the audience. 2005 was very interesting for Rey Mysterio because the story then was that he struggled to get his wife pregnant and had to go to good friend Eddie Guerrero for help. This led to son Dominic, who apparently was a Guerrero and not a Mysterio. This was nuts. I
remember that storyline. That was crazy.
At the time, and by complete accident, they picked the right person.
I was like 9. Me and Dominic the same age, so me and him had to be like 9 years old at the time.
But cheer for him. The quality of his matches went up and up and up. So who cares if he's fighting for custody over his maybe fake kid? He just did a 950 tilt-a-whirl backflip twist driver. I want to see it again. He really was stealing the show on a nightly basis to the point he could have lost his child and gotten away with it. So never forget that Mysterio is one of the best ever. I genuinely don't think I've ever seen him have a bad match. Number 2, Mark Henry rationalizes WWE silliness. During the Attitude Era, I don't think I would have believed that Mark Henry would have reached the level of WWE champion in 2011 because the company was treating him like an absolute madman. Not only was he known as Sexual Chocolate, but he was pitched as a sex addict who got Mae Young pregnant and then gave birth to a hand. What does that even mean? How did this happen? It was Henry who would have the last laugh, though, because whenever he was asked about this, he just chuckled it away. Yeah, who cares? It's just acting, and you can't take it seriously as it's a made-up person who is doing this stuff. That lightly kept him sane, and he was definitely right. When it all came together, he was able to have his big monster run and be a damn good champion.
I hated Mark Henry.
There's no two ways about it.
Doing like 05, 06.
One Roman Reigns uses the fan backlash against them. Do you remember when Roman Reigns was scripted to say Sutherland Succotash? It was terrible. He instantly became the least cool man in wrestling, which was not good, as he was meant to be our new exciting babyface. Nope, got booed. This can't have been fun for Reigns. As well, John Cena had gone through something similar. This felt far more aggressive. When WWE finally agreed to turn him heel,
it worked. It worked.
He used this to his advantage. I mean, it's why he started telling the fans to acknowledge him, because every time we do, Roman knows deep down in his tum-tum that he's gone full circle and is now exactly where he needs to be. The whole persona is pure money, and essentially Roman is now trolling the same folk who pointed the finger and laughed. And sure, we could have done this earlier, but better late than never. What an absolutely wild ride it has been. Know of any other genius ways wrestlers survive WWE humiliations? Make sure you let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
And whatculture.com, where you can read yourself some articles. Please do come follow us on social media at What Culture.
Alright, y'all, great video, man. Let me know down in the comments what y'all thought of my reaction to this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.